Alright, hi everyone. In this tutorial, I will tell you how you can use BrowserStack Cloud for your test execution. In the first part, I will tell you why we go for a cloud. We go for a cloud to save a cost. I don't have to, buy hardware resources, set up Selenium grid server, invest some time on, setting up the infrastructure, setting up the browser version which I need. So cloud is the best solution in that case. You will be only paying for that money for how much you have used. So maybe it might be per minute pay or might be per hour pay. So for short-term projects and for some vast coverage, let's say you wanted to test with different operating system, let's say Mac, Windows, Linux, and in Windows again, if you wanted to test with a different flavor, in combination of different browsers, let's say Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, Edge browser. So then we go with the cloud option because we cannot have combination of each and everything ready. So BrowserStack is well known in the cloud provider. BrowserStack is also sponsors to the Selenium community. And today I will be taking BrowserStack's example to demonstrate how you can execute the test cases in the cloud. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to register to the BrowserStack. They give 100 hours of automated testing for free. So if you wanted to try it, please go ahead to browserstack.com and register a trial account. Once you are done, just log into the BrowserStack, click on the automate menu. To the left hand side, you will see access key. Right now I'm using a test account, username and access key. And then you are all set to write directly automation script in a Selenium. So I'm going to Eclipse, creating a new project. I'm using a Maven project because this is what most of the time used in the IT industry for automation testing with Java combination. So I'm giving com.vikas.training as my group ID and artifact ID as cloud test execution demo. So if you are not familiar with Maven, please go through the Maven tutorials. All right, a Maven project is successfully created. Then you can see a pom.xml where you add dependencies. So I need a dependency for my Selenium. So in the pom.xml, I'm just editing that XML. Under dependencies, let's add a tag dependency, and then you have to specify a group ID for Selenium, like the same way you have to specify for artifact ID and the version. So just to make things faster, I already kept it in my WordPad. So that's the group ID of Selenium. Artifact ID is Selenium-Java. And version number. So right now the latest version of Selenium is 3.3.4.0. Let's save it. So Maven should be automatically downloading the dependencies. This is the first time I'm downloading Selenium 3.4.0 version. So it may take maybe 1 or 2 minutes. So let's wait for some time so that my Eclipse will download that dependencies and all the jar files for Selenium version 3.4. Once it is done, we should be able to create a class. Oh, another dependency I need is TestNG because I will be using TestNG as my testing framework. So for TestNG, I'm going to add another dependency tag. Sorry, group ID org.testng is the group ID for TestNG. Artifact ID is test ng only, and finally version. So I'm mostly using 6.9, 6.9.10. Okay, it's building workspace. All right. So Selenium dependency is downloaded. As soon as I save this, it will start downloading the test-ng dependency if I don't have already. All right, so this is also done. There is no error in my project. These are unnecessary projects. Let me close unrelated projects so that it will not create any confusion. Perfect. Now I'm just closing that pom.xml because I have added dependencies. In the B1 dependencies, you can see the dependencies are reflected. I'm using Selenium 3.4 version. Now it is time to add a class. Let's say sample test suite is my test class name. I'm adding into test package. All right, I'm just writing a sample test case without any kind of a framework, just to demonstrate how to use a cloud. So let's begin. Let's jump on directly writing test case. So let me import test annotation from test.ng. It's the first time that I am importing this into my project, so it might take little bit longer. Okay, so this is the package I want to use. Public void test, some AUT services link. Let's say this is my test case. Okay, now let's begin with my Selenium code. So I'm just writing WebDriver. Oh, sorry. Uh, if you are familiar with remote test execution or test execution on a grid, then there are two important things we need. The first thing is desired capabilities. Okay, so desired capabilities will tell you that which platform you wanted to run, which browser you wanted to run, on which version of the browser you will be running your test case, where your grid server is located, and those things. Capabilities will have that detail. Other thing you need is the URL to your server. Okay, so let's begin. I'm creating first class my desired capabilities. Let's say caps is equal to new desired capabilities, and let's say I wanted to run my test case on Windows platform. So caps dot set platform, I'm saying there are some predefined platform enum is there in the Selenium. So I'm saying platform is my, let's say, Windows 8 or Windows 10 machine, whichever you like. You can go with that. I'm using Windows 8. And capability dot set browser, which browser I want. So I'm setting my browser name as Firefox. Next is, now desired capabilities is done. Next part is where I will be executing my test. So for that, I should have a URL to my server. So I'm creating a URL object, URL. So, server URL. That URL has to be imported from java.net package. Server URL equal to new URL, and that there you have to specify string URL. Okay, now that string URL should be for BrowserStack. I already wrote few things. This is the username, this is the access key that you will get it from the BrowserStack's website. So if you expand it, you will see username, password. So this has to be there. I'm just copying this stuff. Okay, that's string URL equal to, this is the string which I want, and in that URL you need to append your username. So I have that username here. So I'm just adding that username and that authentication token, so which is this, okay, without any space. So you can see username colon that password or authentication token at the rate the server. This is my server where I wanted to run my test case. All right. Now, while creating the URL object, it might throw a checked exception. So I'm just declaring, for simplicity, I'm just declaring it as a throws. Now, two things are done. First part was like create capabilities. And second part was to create a URL. Now it is time to launch my browser, okay, on that remote machine. So what we do is we simply create object of driver, and as this is, I will be executing test cases remotely, maybe on Selenium Grid or on cloud. So you should be making use of new remote web driver. Okay, the first thing it asks, there are many constructor to remote web driver. I will be using this one. Okay, I will pass URL object and the capabilities object. So my URL is server URL and the capability object is caps. All right. So once I'm done with this line, this is going to launch my browser on a cloud. The next step is I have to open a URL in the browser. So driver dot get is the method from the webdriver, and there we pass URL to test. So today my application under test is this. So I'm just going to put that URL here. Next part is once that application is open, I will just show you that application, how it looks. Once that application is open, let's take example. I have to click on services, and once I click on services, just verify that URL is it services or not. So just for sake of simplicity or reduce the time, I already copied that CSS locator to the services link, and in Selenium driver dot find element, I will be locating that link with CSS selector, right? Okay. All right. So that's my CSS selector. I'm going to say click. Great. Once it is clicked, what I will do is I will I will read that URL using driver. Get current page URL will return me the URL of my page, and I will be testing it with assertion. So assert equals will pass my test case if the actual and expected are matching. So actual is, okay, my bad, naming convention. Okay, the actual is the page URL that I got it from the driver instance, and the expected URL is, let's take it from the browser. That's my expected URL. If the test case is getting failed, if both are not matching, then test-ng is going to fail my test case, and this is what the failure message will look like. So failed to open services page on clicking services navigation menu. All right, and at the end, okay, just before this assertion, I will close my browser. So irrespective of whether this test case is getting passed or failed, my browser will be closed. So I will write driver dot quit because I don't want that browser to be open if the test case is getting failed that way. So this is not the, I know this is not the 100% right way to start the browser and to close the browser, but as we are learning the cloud execution, we are not focusing on learning framework. That is the reason for now it is okay, I think. All right, so I think we are all set to run this test case. Let's give a try. Right click, run as testing test. Okay. All right, let's go to the BrowserStack dashboard. You can see parallel test running, count is now 1. I'm just going to click here, so it's fetching data. The test case is running on Windows 8.1 platform. Firefox 53 is the default version. BrowserStack will pick up the latest version of that browser by default if you don't specify any. The video fetching is on, and let's wait time. Okay, looks like the test case execution is done. The video is available, so I can just stream it. So initially there were no browser. Okay, see, the browser is open. Let me run it in a full screen. So this is the website, services is clicked, and in the URL you will see services is there. Awesome. So this test case was executed on Windows 8.1 with a Firefox 53 combination. You can see a green dot here saying that this test case is passed. Let's go to the Eclipse. Oh, this test case is failed. I'm not sure why, but let's confirm. Failed to open a services page because that asset failed. Okay, this looks like a synchronization issue. I was expecting services link. The services link was there in the video as well, but my automation script is so fast that it just picked up the old URL. Okay, so I should be adding a mechanism so that it will automatically wait until that URL gets open. So right after here, after clicking on that services link, let's add some wait. Okay, what I will do is I will use some explicit wait using thread.sleep, or maybe I will use this time unit dot seconds dot wait for how much time. I want to do, let's say, wait for 5 seconds. That means only 5 you have to specify. This line might throw interrupted exception, so I'm adding that as throws right now. Ideally you should be handling all the exception by yourself as the first attempt, but for now I'm just adding it as a throws. All right, let me give a try to run this test case. Okay, coming back to here, parallel test running are 0. Let's wait for some time. This should get automatically updated. Can you see now? Okay, 1 is there. Firefox 53 with Windows 8.1 combination is running. Let's wait for some time. If you wanted to see visual log, you need to pass one capability. So BrowserStack.debug equal to true. If you are passing this capability, then you will be able to see the snapshot at every step, like opening a browser, finding element, clicking on element. For every step you will see a snapshot. So, but right now I haven't passed this capability, so I'm not able to see anything at the runtime. Let's wait for this test case to finish. Okay, what is there in Eclipse? Oops, it is still fail. I'm not sure why. Let's find it out. Okay, there is something issue with the protocol handshake creating a session. This must be illegal monitor state exception. Let's see which line it is throwing. Okay, it is throwing exception at this line. Maybe time unit dot seconds dot wait is not working. So what I will do is I will use a more simple approach using thread dot sleep. With how many milliseconds? Let's say 5,000 milliseconds. That means 5 seconds. Coming back here, let's refresh this. Okay, there is one session still ongoing. There must be some issue with that session, so I'm just leaving that and run a test case. Perfect. Okay, the test case is started. Going to the dashboard again. Let me see count. Okay, it is running a test. A minute ago it started. Okay, what I will do for next time, I will add BrowserStack.debug, so I will be able to see snapshots at the runtime while the test case is being executed. Alright, as you can see, the test case execution is done. Going back to the dashboard, let's wait for that video to fetch. Okay, it is live. I will play it in a full screen. The browser opened with that URL and just now clicked on services. See that services URL, services is there in the URL. Let's go to the test-ng test and see the status. Test case execution is done with pass status. It was a synchronization issue that was failing the test case previously. Okay, that's one part. Now let's say you wanted to run the same test case with a multiple browser combination. How you can do that? So I will show you that example as well with the help of data provider annotation. So data provider, it is a feature of testng that allows you to pass multiple set of a data to your test case. So data provider return data type should be object two-dimensional array get and sorry so this is what I'm going to pass. I will be passing platform as well as the browser name. So right now I chose a platform that is Windows 8 and the browser as Firefox, but let's say I wanted to test it on a Linux, Firefox, Linux Chrome, Windows Firefox and Windows Chrome, you know, all these four combination. So let's create a two-dimensional object array. It has to be a runtime configured object array. So test data equal to new object array with some values. So the first row I want is you know, platform. So platform dot which platform I want, let's say Linux. Okay, and which browser, let's say Firefox. Another platform I will add is just copy paste the same line and change the platform. Alright, so these are the four rows I have added. So Linux Firefox, Linux Chrome, now it is Windows, which Windows you want. So I'm using Windows 8 or 8.1 is also fine. Then again Firefox and I want Chrome. So it has to be Windows 8. Okay, I will also give a try with more platforms just for learning. Maybe let's say you wanted to test with a Mac. I'm not sure whether it is really available on BrowserStack, but we will check with the Safari browser because this is also one of the best browser or mostly used browser in the world. Alright, so this time I will return my browser or the test data. Alright, now this data provider has to be binded with my test case. So let's assign some name to my test data provider. Browsers data, and this test case is parameterized. It will be taking data from data provider with the name browsers data. It will pass two parameters. First parameter should be platform and second will be string parameter as the browser name. So this platform has to be set instead of hard coding this thing, and I will remove that Firefox hard coded value with my parameter. Perfect. Now let's run this test. All right, come back here. Let's wait for this count to get updated. Oh, okay. I forgot one thing. I did not mention that run this test case parallelly. So I'm hoping this test should be getting executed in a sequence. Okay, it's loading. Okay, see the test session is started here. Okay, that's my test case which is running. So like that, it will execute 4 test cases one by one. The reason is I haven't specified, parallel equal to true to my data provider. By default, it will run in a series. So next time if I run this test case, it will be running in a parallel because I specified data provider equal to parallel. Okay, so Safari on 7.1 Mavericks OS, Firefox on 53.1 is executed green, Chrome 58 version on Windows 8 is done, Safari 7.1 is also done. So 3 test cases executed. Not sure about Linux machine. Let's wait for some time. Oops, okay, there is something wrong. So total 3 test cases executed and 2 got failed. I'm sure that capability that I passed did not match with the expected. All right, so platform can be one of Mac, Windows 7. So I specified Linux, which is not available. Looks like BrowserStack do not provide support to Linux platform. It is only supporting Mac, Windows 8, XP, and Windows. Or this might be because of I have a trial account. That might be an issue. So this is it. This is how you can run your test cases on a different platform, on a different browser with the help of a cloud solution like BrowserStack. If you need more information on coding perspective, BrowserStack has a nice documentation on how you can use it with Java. So they have given a code samples as well to this URL. Um, so if you need more details, you can go with this URL. And that's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.